Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak. And I will always get back up on my feet. Why are they alive? Radio on the way.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine. I'm not joined by Brandon. I'm joined by Marlee of the former High Wrestling Podcast. What's going on?
Hello. It's been a minute since I've been live. I think I've been sending in stuff for a couple weeks now.
Yes. Brandon's on that train today, but don't worry, you guys will get your AEW recap for those that actually care. Nonetheless, we're here to talk about a lot that has gone down. WWE releases have happened this past week, and I'm not sure if all of these are exact releases or they've been letting contracts expire. So let's read off the names. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I think Sonya Deville just didn't renew her contract, but that's the only one.
Yeah. Duke Hudson, Cedric Alexander, AOP, Aikman, Razor, Paul Ellering, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Giovanni Vinci, and Elektra Lopez. All are no longer with World Wrestling Entertainment. Aikman, Razor, they didn't really do anything when they were gone from the company the first time. I know they were supposed to be at some show. I forget where it was going to be, but then it got canceled. What you call it? I mean, the Good Brothers, Japan, AEW, Impact. They'll go land something. Cedric Alexander is rumored to be going over to the Hurt Syndicate and hurt people with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Giovanni Vinci, not sure what he's going to do. Same with Elektra Lopez. Blair Davenport, I was a fan of hers when she was on the UK Indies, so I'm sure she'll return to that. But what are your thoughts on these WWE releases?
I mean, it sucks to lose your job, but from a certain standpoint, I could relate, because I don't even remember what majority of these people were doing on TV. So in a way, it makes sense, but I'm not going to be that dick that celebrates people losing their jobs. But I'm sure, especially with the Good Brothers, they can go back to Japan. They can go back to Impact. Blair, like you said, can go back to the UK indie scene. There's so many avenues for these people to go. As much as I love WWE, it truly is not the end all be all. There's so many other options and places, as we saw yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that's still technically WWE, but I mean, have you seen the report that Blair Davenport, there was a spot for her in the Rumble, but then she had to give it up to Nikki Bella?
I take everything I see on the internet with a grain of salt, so I can't really speak on that. But I mean, seniority, I guess, if I had to say something about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I did see the Bella Twins do an interview before the Super Bowl, and Brie Bella said she would body slam Taylor Swift, and that popped me.
Somebody should.
Hello. Oh man,
somebody should.
I don't know who had a worse weekend, the Chiefs or Tony Khan, because we got some AEW releases to talk about. Malachi Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks have all left the company. And Ricky Starks,
literally 24 hours later.
Did you see his story when he posted Kendrick?
The Kendrick meme.
Talk about petty. Jesus.
Man, I have to celebrate. Hate is up. Hate has been up since summer 2024. It is thriving in this 2025. I'm here for all of the hate.
I've been a professional hater damn near all my life. I ain't never been rewarded like this. This is crazy. I need to take some tips. But in all seriousness, though, Malachi, I mean, he was about to do a story with Big E when he got released, so we don't even. And Big E doesn't even wrestle anymore given his injury. So we'll see what happens to Malachi. I think Rusev Day should come back. I heard on Wrestling Worldwide, shout out to Ben Cruz and them, that Rusev with the tank against Cena in one of Cena's last matches. I think that would be fun.
That'd be fire.
And then Ricky Starks. I mean, my
Ricky
guy just
Starks.
showed up on NXT. Didn't say
Unprovoked.
didn't say his name, so I'm a little intrigued by that. I mean, Ethan Page got to keep his name, so I would assume that Ricky Starks gets to keep his. If they change it, they change it. It's a part of the game.
I don't think Ricky Starks would change his name. He's too well known. Like even people there were chanting his name before they even because we just all know who he is. I don't think they need to change his name at all. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, absolute, huh?
Absolute. Come on now.
I mean, what were you? I didn't even see like the NXT clip. I was on IG and I saw Bailey posted something. I'm like, is that a recent photo with Ricky Starks? And then like the next post, I was like, oh, this was fast.
For me, I was doing something completely different. I think I was obviously rewatching Kendrick's halftime show once again. I was already on YouTube and I had my subscriptions open and I saw YouTube Shorts. I saw NXT and I saw Ricky Starks and I was like, whoa, 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 run this back. What's happening? Because I feel like not just yesterday he was released from AEW. Now he's on NXT. So that's a crazy turnaround. That's a level of hate I aspire to achieve.
Shout out. NXT has the Defy champ.
Right? Hello.
The Revolution will be televised every Tuesday on the CW. I love it.
Right person, right time.
Come on now. I mean, we saw Ricky Starks at BTW out here in Newark.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. You actually got to meet him. Yeah, that's right.
I did. Very nice guy. Very polite.
Yeah, it seems like a very chill cat. I mean, charisma out the wazoo. Can obviously go in the ring. I don't know why I never clicked. I thought for sure after the Jericho feud he was going to be onto something, but then nothing ever happened with that. And then the stuff with Punk
fell flat.
And then the stuff with Punk, like I felt like he should have wrestled Punk at All In for that Real World's Championship.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
But now there's no more missed opportunities.
But by the way, if we get Punk versus Starks 3, I'm not going to be opposed to that.
Hey, we'll never complain. We'll never complain.
Right. And shout out no, what were you going to say?
I said, bring him to SmackDown. Have a little moment with Cody. Get a full circle moment.
Oh, of course. We're going to get
Cody, Jade, Punk. He's got to get all of his people in.
Right. I mean, we thought Penta was the biggest signing that they were going to have. I mean, they just. I mean,
and the year just started. We're only a month too.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, to think like 2 more could be coming is mind-boggling. Let's get into SmackDown. Jay and Cody versus the Bloodline, or are they just Tama and Jacob now?
I think so. I think that's what it is at the moment.
Yeah. Cody's out there with Jay and Jay's talking about considering to choose him to wrestle the WrestleMania for the title. Jacob and Tama come out there. Jacob says the title needs to come back to the fam, and it can't be you. Long story short, they get to the tag match. Crossroads on Tama. Jay and Cody win. Solo Sikoa returns out of nowhere.
Like an RKO.
Right. I mean, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I know. What? Maybe they do Solo versus Cody at the Chamber, but I think about this. How do you come back from losing the Ula Fala? You win the undisputed WWE Championship.
Yeah, that could be one route they're gonna go.
Because he's lost to Cody so many times. Like,
would they pull the trigger this close to WrestleMania? Less than 100 days.
Stranger things have happened.
That is true.
Because like I look at it like Chambers March 1st. Let's say they pull the trigger. They could. He could have it for like 3 weeks.
And Cody wins it back.
Yeah, on a SmackDown.
Yeah. At least like for some shock factor. Because hands down, Cody does have to walk into Mania as the champion. That would just make no sense.
And plus, like,
otherwise,
if John were to win the Elimination Chamber, he and Solo do have history. Yeah, I mean, there's I don't know about triple. There's been rumors of like the Punk Roman Rollins triple threat already. A lot is going on. But we did have a triple threat on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre defeated LA Knight, and Jimmy Uso to qualify for the Elimination Chamber.
And right now. I'm looking at it.
It was great
The
stuff.
timing.
Great,
That it,
great finish. Great finish.
from what I
Um,
see, it looks excellent.
so we'll see. We'll see McIntyre go on to the chamber, and then you have Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. They had a promo out there. Tiffany's like, I've been compared to you, but choose me, and when I beat you, I won't be the next Charlotte Flair. I'll be the first Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax comes out there and says, you stole the title from me, so next week we're gonna get Nia versus Tiffany for the title, and then this led into Alexa Bliss versus Candice LeRae. Alexa Bliss is qualified for the chamber. All that was good. KO had a car promo explaining why he attacked Sami Zayn, and you checked on Cody, and you just and me, and you just watched Cody climb the ladder and win and retain the title, and then you checked on Roman Reigns. You didn't show that much care for me, so a lot is going on with KO right now.
He is going through it.
I mean,
He
after
is
the Alabama Slammer,
even before that, he has just been going through it. He has just been on a little rampage, which I support. I don't think we've got a solid heel Kevin Owens run in a minute. I wish it could have resulted in the title because we also haven't gotten a solid Kevin Owens title run in a minute. But I'm liking the character work. I like that he's still got stuff in the tank to pull out. And now that we're finally getting Kevin versus Sammy, that I feel like this would have happened a lot earlier. I feel like it happened in NXT. I could be wrong, but main roster wise, I thought it would have happened a lot earlier.
no, I mean they've done this a couple times before. I mean they did it at WrestleMania 37.
Where were they at 37? Because why
It
am I
was
drawing
it
a
was
blank?
Florida. They did it there. They've done it a couple times on the main roster, like in 2016 when they both were on the main roster.
Ah,
Um,
this must have been the pandemic one. That's probably why I don't remember it.
well, 37 was the one where like they were in front of a limited capacity of fans. That's where
Yeah,
Roman pinned Edge and Daniel Bryan on the same night, or at the stacked them on top of each other.
yeah. The pandemic era is just like a blur to me.
It was blurred to a lot of us. The Street
Yeah,
Profits want the smoke.
and
They
they deserve the smoke.
They want the smoke. Great promo from both of these gentlemen. I'm going to read a line from this promo. Montez Ford said it. He said, "How many brothers are we gonna see turn their backs on each other just to mend back together because they know the grass isn't greener on the other side?"
Yeah, I missed that one. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, that was heavy.
yeah. I, if we're gonna get some more serious Street Profits, I, I
It's been
I'm here for it.
long overdue. Wow, I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was shocked by the heel turn, but it was still a shock. It was
I
kind
don't
of like
even
a finally
I don't even know if
kind of
it's a heel.
shock.
I don't even know if it's a heel turn. I think it's
It
just been
could.
like, hey, we tired of playing games. We're tired of smiling all the time and not getting nowhere. So,
I don't know. It kind of came off heelish when they showed up at Rumble,
yeah, but
but
they attack DIY who are also heels. I
I
mean,
mean,
are the heels?
I mean, heels have attacked heels before. So
Yeah,
it's not totally crazy, but this is kind of just like that. Finally,
yeah.
shock.
I think what it is like, hey, no, like this is our division. Like Motor City Machine Guns, y'all just got here. DIY, y'all ain't been a team in like 6 or 7 years. I think that's really what this is, but I'm excited to see what comes of it. Bianca Belair also qualified for the Elimination Chamber, defeated Piper Niven. Yeah, I mean, look, Bianca versus Rhea, I think that's the way we need to go. I am intrigued by Charlotte versus Ripley 3, but Bianca and Rhea, I mean, that's the match that we've been
Yeah.
clamoring for.
If we don't, well, I know they just gave us Bianca, or not Bianca. I know they just gave us Rhea and Io on was it the Raw after Elimination Chamber? I thought that was the way they were gonna go at WrestleMania, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. But now that you bring up Rhea and Bianca, I feel like Charlotte does need to stay on Tiffany because I don't think we need Charlotte and Ripley 3. But I feel
Not
like
yet, not
if
yet.
yeah, that can wait because I
That's like
feel
a
like where Tiffany is right now, I feel like she does need that Charlotte kind of elbow rub push But yeah, no, Bianca and Rhea 3, that would go absolutely
Because I
insane.
mean, you have Jade come back, and I assume Naomi's the one that did it. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You can do Jade and Naomi at WrestleMania.
True.
Yeah, can do something like that. If Naomi's the one that attacked her. And then lastly, Carmelo gets a win on SmackDown finally when he defeats Akira Tozawa. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, congrats, finally a win.
Right. Melo didn't miss this one. Inside the ring, Hiroki Goto finally wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship after 20 plus years of chasing it. He finally got it, defeating Zack Sabre Jr. Congratulations to him. And then Cora Jade defeated Bayley on NXT. Roxanne Perez comes out as Hugger Bayley. I forgot how much of a bop that theme song was.
Oh yeah, no, I keep thinking "Let's Light It Up." No, yeah, no, no, it really was. Just
stopping. Yeah,
come on now.
I used to
Bring back CFOs. Bring back CFOs. Come on.
Yeah.
But,
We have to talk about the death rebel of it all. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Roxanne Perez. I'm becoming a fan of her because those mind games. I was not expecting that from her, but then again, I don't watch NXT weekly to know like how her character is. But if she's willing to stoop that low, I put her on the main roster. Main roster her. But also something else that came up in my subscriptions from NXT. Izzy Dame had turned on the D'Angelo family with the crowbar. She came in on the knee. I was like, wow, okay.
A lot is going on in NXT.
Sided with Sean Spears. I was like, what is. I watched the highlights mainly.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Sean Spears is a perfect 10.
He is.
Yeah.
I know a little guy named Ty Dillinger would agree.
Absolutely. But he was over.
When he came out as 10 in the Rumble, I did pop. Because who else?
Yeah, right.
Was it 2018? 2018, yeah.
10. That means just.
That was great.
Everything about it. I've met him. Great guy. Fantastic human being. I need my guy to win some gold down there in NXT.
Come on now.
I need the perfect 10 to be the North American champ or something. Something like that. I mean, Jesus. Let's get into
anything.
Yeah, let's get into the Raw recap. Jey Uso chooses Gunther, so we have our first WrestleMania match official. Jay's out there yeeting with the crowd. Gunther comes out there, just beats the hell out of him. He's like, "Don't do it, Jay." And then Jay chooses him, and Gunther's like, "Well, this is gonna be 10 weeks of hell."
I feel like that was the right choice because Cody has too much going on SmackDown that would just complicate things.
Yeah, but I liked this from Gunther because we haven't really seen this vicious side of him in quite a long time.
Not in a minute.
Like he needs to just start beating the hell out of people again.
Yeah. Just come back and be vicious.
Right.
And I like that Ludwig Kaiser was still able to branch out away from Gunther and still be a solid contender.
Absolutely. But Jay versus Gunther, I mean, they have 10 weeks to tell us a very compelling story, and I'm excited to see what they do. I am.
Man, the tag match with Liv and Raquel, Io and Dakota, that went crazy.
That was great.
Liv got busted open. I was like, dang. Honestly, the women kind of outshined match-wise on Raw this week, I will say. Not even being biased, but like we'll get there. But Bayley and Lyra even killed it too. I was very, very entertained.
Yeah, Liv and Raquel have earned themselves a tag title match. So I think I think Liv and Raquel will win those tag titles. Which will kind of free up Bianca, to win the chamber. And then if Jade comes back, whenever she comes back, address who attacked her and whatnot. I think that will be great.
I don't know why, but I can see Jade coming back at the chamber as kind of like a distraction. Or like she comes out at the end of the women's chamber match if she doesn't come out like midway through.
I thought she was going to come back in the Rumble and they were going to pin Naomi, and Naomi was just going to have this shocked look on her face. I thought that's what they were going to do, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. Pepsi Phil, CM Punk, he had a promo saying WrestleMania belongs to him. Logan Paul comes out there and he's just like, I didn't even know whose music that was.
Second week in a row, wasn't it? Because even Seth last week was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, it's
Can't
kind
even
of
lie to you.
I feel like it's a mention to like, people not knowing whose themes they are.
Because I'm not even gonna lie to you. Sometimes Logan Paul comes out, and I don't even know who he is until I look at the TV screen.
Well, I feel like he had a different song and then they changed it again. Yeah. We need recognizable music. That's the bottom line.
Jim Johnston, CFOs, you just knew who was coming out when they were in charge. Now, when Death Rebel is coming out, I actually have to look at the TV and pay attention.
I will stand by this. There is only one great Death Rebel song, and it is the head of the table for the tribal chief. That is the only one. Wait, did they make Jey Uso? Did they make Jey Uso song?
Did they?
Like that? Yeah, like did they?
Hold on. I got Google open.
Okay, if they made Jimmy, and solo songs, then okay. The Bloodline songs are the ones.
Oh yeah, he did. Death Rebel did make Jay's theme song.
Okay, so they like I said, if they made
Honestly, EOS kind of goes crazy too. EO Sky. So they got 3 winners.
I feel no, but is that Death Rebel? I feel like she had that before.
No, that's Death Rebel.
I mean, Eels is like I said, the Bloodline
They got 3
and EO Skies are the ones.
3 wins.
They got that. But yeah, Logan Paul comes out there and says like, saying it's a diss to lose to me. Within 24 hours later, I threw you over the top rope. My guy CM Punk was like, the only number you need to be worried about is 619, and if you make it to the chamber, I'm gonna put you to sleep. I said, oh
yeah. I'm just all for violence. Just kill that man if you have to. Get him out of there.
I know I know people don't like Logan Paul. This man has taken to this business just effortlessly. I mean, he did the moonsault fall away slam. People are like, oh, he's just gonna steal all the Hangman Page's moves. Look, he might do them.
I still don't like the guy.
He might do them a little better. I'm sorry. I'll say it. But yeah,
Logan. I try to keep him out of sight, out of mind. I don't really care for that man.
Logan Paul defeats Rey Mysterio with the pulverizer. That finisher is dope. I can't even lie. The flip over into DDT, I was like, oh, I like that. And then as Raw's going off the air, the New Day just assault.
And then cuts off like mid assault, so we can't even see what happened.
Yeah, but they put up a video like Dragon Lee comes out there and tries to save him, and New Day take care of Dragon Lee. I assume we're gonna get this at the Chamber, this tag match, or on a big episode of Raw, or because they can't go all the way to Mania with this, can they? No.
I mean, they could, but I can either see it on a random episode of Raw or the Raw after the Chamber at least.
Can we get the titles on the New Day? Can we get the tag titles on the New Day now?
I had to think about who the tag champions were.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That exactly. I was
love the Viking War Raider experience. Love them.
I was just about to say that's probably the reason the New Day needs to hold the titles, because it took me too long to think about who the champions were.
Yeah, because the tag division on SmackDown is crazy. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we need to get that up. Need to get that up and going. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, a heel New Day with the titles would elevate,
because they were heel champions before, but they were goofy. This version,
yeah, this like straight serious heels. This would be another level.
Yeah, I don't like Kofi stealing my thing of just shaving your mustache. I don't like that.
Okay, Wolverine.
Hey man, the phenomenal AJ
Hugh Jackman,
phenomenal AJ Styles, Hugh Jackman, great Raw guest host.
Hello.
The phenomenal AJ Styles is back on Raw with his theme music that people know and like. You love it. He's out there.
Just get ready to flop.
He hated that song.
Really?
Yeah, I saw an interview. He said he wasn't a fan.
Oh wow!
But I mean, they don't want none. That's the one. That's the one right there. I love "Get Ready to Fly." Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's
nostalgia.
That's it. That's
nostalgia.
AJ's back on Raw. He's out there. Dominic and Carlito. He's giving the Pele kick to Carlito. Dominic tries to get him. He puts him down. Phenomenal forearm to Carlito. They go down. Then AJ is going to get a match with him next week, and then AJ runs into Braun Breaker, and I'm like, oh yeah.
That was, somebody on Twitter just said the spear, Braun Breaker's spear countering the phenomenal forearm. That visual alone.
I mean, we've seen it with Roman, but that one's going to be something.
No, Braun's spear specifically. I know we've seen it before, but I'm talking specifically Braun Breaker.
Can I let me get Braun Breaker pinned in AJ Styles IC title WrestleMania? Give him 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. The dogs were barking. He kind of looked like Cowboy Brock with that hat. I'm not gonna lie.
He did.
Yeah.
Honestly, Braun Breaker's growing on me. I didn't get it when he was in NXT, but there was one match he had this year where I was like, okay, I'm sold.
I mean, come on now. The dogs are barking. The dogs are barking. And then we got Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Bayley defeated the woman's IC champ.
That was that a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber?
It was a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber, yes.
Okay.
But Bayley does have a championship match this weekend going up against Julia, I believe.
Julia and Roxanne. I think it's a triple threat. There's like 2 triple threat championship matches at Vengeance Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Because what you call it? It's Obafemi versus A-Town
Down Under.
And I saw Grayson Waller posted a photo from Survivor Series 09 when it was DX versus each other and John Cena for the WWE title. And if you remember, Shawn Michaels super kick right out the gate. So
I mean, if Shawn Michaels is running it, I feel like there will be a callback of some sort.
Grayson Waller said tape study is important. I was like, this guy's great.
Man.
Shawn Michaels. Shout out to Shawn taking a photo with Lance on the wall.
Oh, no, it's not even a triple threat. It's a fatal 4-way now. So it's Julia, Bayley, Roxanne, and Cora.
Oh, my goodness.
And then there's Fallon Henley versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's North American. Devon Evans versus Ethan Page.
Love it.
Raxium versus Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. And then Trick Williams versus Eddie Thorpe.
Not Carl Fredericks.
Carl Fredericks going crazy in a strap match. Okay.
What's up with Obafemi in the title, though?
I'm going Obafemi. Come on now.
No, it's a triple threat, though, right?
It's a triple threat,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's your NXT Vengeance Day speak. There you guys go.
Little crumbs.
Right. Before we wrap it up, we are going to throw it to Brandon. He's going to give you your AEW talk, his Raw recap, and the releases.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Brandon Tanguma. I'm off on excursion this week, so I'm here via satellite to send in some of my thoughts on the WWE AEW releases, and I'll recap Monday Night Raw, give you my thoughts as well. So first, we did have kind of our first big batch of WWE releases. We talked about Duke Hudson last week, but we thought it was a one-off. It was not. We had much more releases over the past week. Cedric Alexander, Akam, Razor, Paul Ellering, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Giovanni Vinci, and Elektra Lopez. I'm sure Phillip and Marley went over their thoughts. And, you know, none of these are like super big names. Now you can kind of pick out individually and you can say like, oh, I wish they kind of did more with them. Kind of like, you know, the Akam and Razor, the Authors of Pain, I always felt like they could have done a little bit more with them. They always kind of got a little bit of a push, but never went like full bore with them, which kind of does suck. My underrated list did take a hit this week with both Isla Dawn and Elektra Lopez getting released. So, you know, that sucks. Blair Davenport was an interesting one. Not that she got released per se, but just she had a relatively big name on the European indie scene as B. Priestley. And she came in, you know, did some stuff, I think, with NXT UK and NXT proper, but never did anything on the main roster at all. And I thought that was a little interesting. Now, her ring work is really good, but she just never really, I think, clicked as a character. Kind of anywhere she goes, she kind of did rely more on the in-ring stuff than her actual character. Maybe that's the reason why she didn't really get a fair shake in the main roster. And so she's probably going to go somewhere else, you know, maybe go back to Europe, wrestle there, maybe going to AEW. Like if you ask me out of everyone, Cedric Alexander, I think, is kind of a lock to go over to AEW to join the Hurt Syndicate and be over there, especially, you know, he can be kind of the same guy he was in AEW or in WWE with the Hurt Business. kind of being the fall guy, can, get a couple singles wins, but almost kind of like the Wheeler Yuta of the Hurt Syndicate and kind of be the designated job guy, which I'm not a big fan of, the job and specifically, but that's just kind of what they do over there in AEW. The other names, nothing too shocking. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I mean, they probably go back to Japan, do some stuff in New Japan. I don't really want to see mostly anybody, I would say, kind of out of these names, like go over to AEW. I don't think none of them really add too much value. Maybe they go on the indie scene and can surprise me. So kind of like, as I said, outside of Cedric and joining the Hurt Syndicate, and maybe Blair Davenport, just because I think she's maybe the best wrestler out of the group, maybe outside of Cedric. Nothing really too surprising here. So, unfortunate that all these people lost their jobs, but we also had some releases on the AEW side of things, and I was gonna kind of save that for the AEW Dynamite recap, but we did get a surprise debut of Ricky Starks, like a 48 hours or 24 hours, it seemed like, after his release got leaked or, became public. He shows up on NXT, doesn't really do too much, but they also didn't call him by his name. That was the crowd chanting for Ricky and saying it. WWE's put out some tweets and videos and once again does not refer to him as Ricky Starks, which is interesting. Maybe he's going to change his name, which I don't know how, legally and all that stuff works. Some people come in with their AEW name, some people don't. Ricky Starks, was Ricky Starks before AEW. He was that in NWA where he kind of really made a name for himself and is kind of where I lean on in terms of my projections on what he could be. And I'm not like super sold on Starks being like this marquee talent, can't miss prospect. And he is 34, so he's not exactly a prospect anymore. He's kind of a guy you got to go with. But NXT, I think, is a solid landing spot for him, especially since it is WrestleMania season. You don't want to put him somewhere and either get lost in the shuffle, and I don't think he's big enough to kind of get pushed right into that upper card main event or upper card scene during the WrestleMania season. So putting him in NXT, where the men's main event scene is very much lacking at this point, putting him there makes a whole lot of sense, and I think it's a good spot. And also, kind of, as much as NXT isn't very developmental anymore, and it shouldn't be just because they're on broadcast television, it is a spot where WWE can kind of take a look at him, kind of see what they got, and maybe, plan for what he's going to be doing on the main roster, because I would assume he's not long for NXT. He's much, a bigger set, bigger stage, I would say, than Ethan Page, Brian Pillman, Sean Spears, those AEW guys that have gone to NXT. I think Ricky Starks is on a different level than both those guys, but I'm also not sold on him being this guy that is going to be a difference maker in WWE. So have to wait and see on that front. We did get two more former WWE wrestlers get released finally after months and years of speculation. Now at this point, both Malachi Black and Miro have gotten their releases from AEW, and I mean, it's about damn time. I think both of them are talented. Both of them, I think, have their own separate issues. Malachi, Aleister Black, felt like he was more willing to play ball than Miro. I don't know what either situation is. There's rumblings and rumor and innuendo that neither one of them wanted to lose. The Miro one really questions me, because he, came in, didn't really do too much, got a little bit of a push, had some good stuff with the Redeemer vignettes, and then just kind of, I think he maybe got injured. He also had his divorce with Lana, or separation from Lana, and haven't really seen him since. And now at this point, it's almost like both these guys seemingly are very talented, but yet they've both had stints in WWE and AEW where they've kind of flamed out. And so how much of it can you put on the promotions, and how much of it can you put on the wrestlers themselves? I would not be shocked. I honestly expect both of these guys to probably be back in WWE before the year is over. Would not be shocked if they're back before WrestleMania or SummerSlam. I don't know how these releases work in terms of AEW and kind of their time span on freezes. WWE is usually a 90-day. Maybe AEW is a little bit different. Ricky Starks, he, as we said, basically was gone the next day. was in NXT the next day, so we have to wait and see on that front. So that's it for the releases thus far on my front. Maybe we'll get some next week, but let's move on over to the WWE Raw recap. We started off with Jey Uso, and he did his very long ring entrance. We got another encore yeet. We got one on SmackDown. Now we're getting one on Raw. I really hope this doesn't become a thing, but I kind of fear it's going to be a thing because every week they're going to go to a new town, and a new town is going to want to do the encore yeet. And maybe this is a way for them to kind of nip it in the bud because during it, Gunther attacked Jey, and they did a pull-apart brawl. And then Jey ends up picking Gunther for his match at WrestleMania. So we get the first WrestleMania match set up. We got to see the graphics, the video, the music and all that other stuff. And I think it's a smart move. Jey versus Cody could have been something, but at this point, I don't see Jey being like the true main event of WrestleMania. Maybe it's the end of night one. I still think it's going to be Rhea and Charlotte. But, I do kind of wonder how long this shelf life of Jey is going to last, because it almost feels as though the entirety of his overness is strictly based on the entrance. And it's fun for the crowd every single week to do the yeet for 10 minutes straight. But as a viewer, I've seen this 3 times. I'm kind of almost not, I don't want to say sick of it, but I'm kind of over it at this point. I'm fine with him doing it for a couple minutes and then he gets it in the ring, but then they just keep going on and on and on with it. It kind of just does get very repetitive. So I do wonder how they're going to, and we're still 2 months away from WrestleMania. So we still got a long way to go in terms of some stuff and how they kind of fill out that time between then with Gunther and Jey Uso. I wonder if Jey is going to get, not sidelined, but, maybe diverted and does a little mini feud with somebody on Raw and then goes back to Gunther kind of once we get closer to April. But who knows? We did have a tag team match. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan taking on Damage Control. Io Sky and Kai win. I thought it was a fantastic match. It was, fun, 16 minutes back and forth. Both Io and Liv got busted up. Liv pretty badly on the side of her head. They did a Judgment Day segment later on, and you could see the gash on her temple, and that did look kind of gnarly. Another women's match here, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Bayley gets the win here to qualify for the Chamber. No shenanigans with Roxanne Perez on the outside, as people maybe thought was going to happen. Good, solid match, and Bayley wins with a roll-up. That almost kind of seems like the Triple H specialty, is if it's kind of a match of substance, it's either going to be a distraction finish or a roll-up, which it does get a little formulaic at times. They hyped the match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Just pretty basic stuff on that front. The War Raiders beat the Creed brothers via DQ, so a little bit of character building. They're not going to give away a title change quite yet. I would not be shocked if the Creeds end up winning and maybe they are dripped out in gold by the time Master Gable comes back. But it did kind of seem stupid that Julius Creed hit one of the War Viking Raider Experience guys with the title when they weren't on the verge of losing. Obviously they didn't have the momentum, but it wasn't a dire situation. But whatever. Rhea Ripley, after costing Io's match last week, says that she's going to face Io in 3 weeks, the week after, or the Monday after Elimination Chamber with a title match. Fully expect Rhea Ripley to win here, but should be a good match nonetheless. CM Punk made his entrance, cut a promo. Very straightforward, just kind of talking about the, just talking about his goals and aspirations, and talking about the Elimination Chamber, and just kind of running down everyone. I did think it was, a little interesting. Did kind of go into John Cena, teased him a little bit, but didn't go full blown anti Cena. So maybe there's rumors that it could be a triple threat match with Cody, Punk, and Cena for the main event. I don't know. That would be interesting, but also I don't know. Seth and Roman doesn't really do anything for me. I wish it was Roman and Punk or Roman. And, anyways, I wish we kind of get like a really solid singles match with Roman and a really solid singles match with Punk, but I don't think we're going to get either one of those. But Logan Paul interjects. They kind of go back and forth, and that was a fun little dynamic, and that bleeds into the Logan Paul Rey Mysterio match, which was a qualifier, and Logan won in 17 minutes. Really solid match. Logan Paul kind of, does his creator wrestler move set of just kind of hitting all his different high spots and all his different moves that every other wrestler uses as like a finisher, but he uses it as a transition move. And Logan Paul gets the win, and he did debut a new finisher with the pulverizer. So the pulverizer, get it? Because his last name's Paul. It's kind of like a flipping DDT. It looks cool, but he did do it against Rey Mysterio, and I just wonder how many other wrestlers he could pull that off against. Like, is CM Punk going to be able to take that move? I don't know, but maybe he'll take it at the Elimination Chamber, and he will surprise me very much so. So Logan Paul gets the win, and that is it for Raw. I didn't really go for SmackDown too much, but Solo returns to take on, seemingly to take on Cody, maybe at Elimination Chamber. Interesting that Cody's getting sucked back into the Bloodline 2.0. Maybe this is just something, to, as I said, like with Jay, to divert him a little bit until what he's going to do at WrestleMania really takes shape. But then also you bring back Solo just to lose again. I don't know. Maybe we do get some feuding between Solo and Jacob Fatu, pronouns pal. But yeah, so that's it for my little WWE recap. I'll come back in a little bit to discuss AEW Dynamite on the verge of their Grand Slam show in Australia. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Tanguma back here to do my normal responsibilities with the AEW Dynamite recap, as well as a Grand Slam preview. Before that, I just want to do some non-release news for a second. Shout out Hiroki Goto, the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He's been getting over recently over there in New Japan, and he had his match at, I believe, New Beginnings against Zack Sabre Jr., and there's a lot of people calling for it. And a lot of people didn't expect it to happen, but Goto ended up getting the job done and beat ZSJ to become the new champion. And it was not a shocking development that he won, but it was an interesting one because Goto, a longtime veteran, he's in his mid-40s. He's had his moments, but never like as the tippy-top guy, obviously, with Tanahashi, Naito, Omega, Okada, Nakamura. Kind of shows how far back he dates back. He just was never that top guy. He was always kind of second or third in line. And he's been recently getting some really good crowd responses, getting some good ovations. Match-wise, perfectly fine for what Goto has been doing, usually in these past couple years of his career. And the attendance kind of spiked up with his match being announced, and so that kind of raised some eyebrows. Of just like, oh, maybe they do have something here, because New Japan has definitely been in a lull since post-pandemic, post-mass exodus of a lot of their top talent going to AEW mostly. So New Japan needs a little shot in the arm, and Goto might not be the end-all be-all. Obviously, being a 40, how old is Goto? I'm gonna say 45. Let's see. I kind of butchered his name. He is 45. Point for me on that one. So, he won the G1 one time, but that was all the way back in 2008. So it kind of shows how far back he goes. And he finally got the job done. So, good for him. I do wonder how long this title reign will last, what exactly they can get out of him, but he's still an adequate wrestler. He's perfectly fine. He's not broken down like Tanahashi or Naito is, so he can still kind of go in the ring, and he's a Japanese star, which I think for New Japan at this point, they're not going to compete with AEW, WWE, TNA, honestly, and NXT for the American market, so they kind of really need to focus on that Japanese market. And honestly, when New Japan got super hot back in the day, they weren't like focusing on the American market. They were just putting out a really good product for Japan, and word got out, and with technology and everything, it slowly expanded into the States. And maybe Goto is the short-term answer as they kind of put some some of the younger guys in line to possibly overtake him and kind of be that new centerpiece star. But for right now, I think Goto, good for him, and I think it is a great pick for New Japan going forward. And also shout out, Zack Sabre Jr. He was always in a tough spot, I think, being the champion. But let's get into AEW Dynamite. This was a pre-tape show. This was taped on Tuesday, as a lot of the talent flying over to Australia for the show on Saturday/Sunday. So first off, we did have Max Caster doing an open challenge. Hangman ended up being the one to answer that challenge, and he beat Caster, not easily, but relatively quickly. And it was fine, but the main story of the show was Hangman and MJF's dynamic. They had a little bit of back and forth these past couple weeks. MJF then had a promo to hype up his match against Dustin Rhodes, and Hangman barged in, kicked MJF out, and then he cut a promo, MJF did, on Hangman, and they kind of had an intense stare down, and I thought that was good stuff. Then MJF has his match with Dustin, beats Dustin in like 9 minutes, so fairly short. And the action was good while it lasted, but MJF got a strong, clean win over Dustin Rhodes, which I agree with. I kind of wish Dustin Rhodes, as I said, was in the Jeff Jarrett category, Jeff Jarrett role of kind of being that veteran going on that one last run. But with Rhodes being more of a ROH guy at this point, it makes total sense to kind of sacrifice him to MJF to get over a win here. Then Hangman comes out. They have a pull apart brawl with security. They brawl up into the crowd, into the stands, up to one of the entranceways. So it does seem all signs are pointing to MJF and Hangman Page at Revolution, which honestly is one of the more intriguing matchups, definitely more intriguing than the main event, as we will get to it a little bit. We did have a couple tag team title matches. We had the trios titles on the line, with the Death Riders defending successfully against the Undisputed Kingdom. That was Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. Kyle O'Reilly lost to Wheeler Yuta after Yuta took O'Reilly to Dick Kick City. So, this is more of a Collision storyline that did play out on Dynamite. So that's where Adam Cole's been. He's been over there on Collision. If you guys have been wondering where little Adam Cole is, since we don't talk Collision on the regular episodes. We also had the duos, the tag team title match proper, with the Hurt Syndicate successfully defending against the Guns. And that was a fun matchup, but once again, the Hurt Syndicate were kind of total baby faces. They weren't really playing heels that much at all. The crowd was split. They liked chanting "We Hurt People." They liked chanting "Guns Up." So they liked both teams. And it wasn't like they were booing either one. It was just like both, each side had their own little contingent in the crowd, and there was like dueling chants and, going back and forth of "We Hurt People" and "Guns Up." And, Guns' first match back, they lose clean to the Hurt Syndicate. I don't have too much of an issue with it. It's more of just kind of the way they are portraying the Hurt Syndicate at this point. I kind of wish they would just pick a lane, either be full-blown baby faces or be full-blown heels. And maybe they just had this match to kind of write the Guns off in terms of they had a tag title match kind of on the table and just get that out the way. Because then afterwards, then Brian Cage and Lance Archer from the Don Callis family show up. So that seems to be the next feud, which is a clear babyface dynamic for the Hurt Syndicate, which is what I was just saying. I'm like, just have Hurt Syndicate go up against some heels, beat them up, and then eventually, if they have to face against the babyface tag team, because that's who's either taking it off of them or that's just the biggest match they can put on, then that's fine. But I just think if you're going to have a face-face matchup in like they did here, put it little later on down the line. Don't just put it straight up, but it is what it is. Then a recurring bit or a recurring story throughout the show was Adam Copeland and Jay White. They were able to attack Moxley from behind, trap Marina Shafir in a closet or in a room somewhere, and was able to grab the briefcase. And so they did this like fairly early on in the show, and then they said, Cope and White said something like, "Oh, they're going to go out and to the ring, or they're going to do something with it." But then that didn't happen for like another 45 minutes, and it was just kind of like, okay, like what the hell's going on here? So then at the very end of the show, Copeland threatens to spike the briefcase, which with his gimmick named Spike, which was the 2x4 with the nails in it. It's like Janice from Abyss with TNA, but so he threatens Moxley to that he's gonna impale the briefcase, and I thought this whole thing was stupid. It just like felt over the top. It felt kind of it just seemed very fake. Like, why would Copeland be doing all this stuff? Just open the damn briefcase. And if he cares so much about the title, why is he going to smash the briefcase that the title is presumably in? So I just felt like the psychology was kind of weird on that front. And then Moxley comes out and says, like, what are you doing? You think I don't care about the title? I, gave my blood, sweat, and tears and whatever else. I sacrificed my life for that title. And so, like, if you just kind of look at the surface, like, Moxley kind of seems to be the babyface in this situation, while Copeland is the heel, threatening to destroy the championship. So I just thought this ending segment was like very weird and kind of like all over the place from a psychology standpoint, from just a full blown character what Copeland is doing standpoint, almost like it felt like too over the top for the type of guy he is. It just came so far out of left field of just like he had an idea to do this and he wanted to use the gimmick, so let's just force feed it in there when it really doesn't make too much sense. But that's the AEW special here for you. I have an idea. It's not a good idea, but I have an idea and we're going to use it regardless. So that was Dynamite. Pretty, by the number show. Fine. Some really good, some good wrestling throughout, and angles wise, nothing too strong, just very much setting up what comes up on Saturday night, post NBA All-Star Saturday. So over here on the West Coast, it's set up for 7 o'clock, but if you have the DVR, definitely would go and just, maybe do it a little bit of an extension, both at the front end and the back end, just in case, those things normally run long. So I definitely would suggest putting like an extra, half hour to an hour extension on your recording if you're not going to watch it live. So we don't exactly know what the main event of the show is. I would suspect it's going to be the women's world title match between Mariah May and Toni Storm. We did get a Mariah May promo on Dynamite, nothing from Toni Storm. Honestly, this feud has been a little bit lackluster, with Toni Storm coming back and then this being the match. Maybe not be the blow off because we do have Revolution coming up in around 3 weeks on March 9th. So maybe they run it back for a rematch. So we're going to get some sort of chicanery. I think Mariah May walks out with the title. I don't think Timeless Toni Storm gets it done here. But yeah, I think the match should be good. I mean, I really did enjoy their Wembley match, but just in terms of like a finish or a prediction of what I think is going to happen, I think Mariah May ends up getting the win. A little bit surprising on Dynamite. No real mention, no real push for the Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and Don Callis match. It was much more stronger 2 weeks ago, so maybe they just kind of figured, we did our thing 2 weeks ago, and maybe, Fletcher and everyone involved, Ospreay and Omega, might be already over in Australia to do media or something, so I don't know. But I think this one's pretty I don't know if it's very straightforward, because, Kyle Fletcher has been protected pretty much. Takeshita is a champion, while Ospreay and Omega are maybe the top two guys in the AEW men's division. So if you're kind of looking for an odd man out, which is a lot of happenings for AEW tag title matches or tag matches, there's really none. And I would maybe say Takeshita is kind of the odd man out if you kind of had to make me rank them in terms of where I think Tony Khan sees these guys. But I think for the most part, we're going to get a lot of, baby faces winning here. And I think Ospreay and Omega just win. Maybe a DQ finish or something, but I think Ospreay and Omega just get the job done here. We have a AEW Continental Championship match, and if you forget who's Continental Champion, it is still Kazuchika Okada, he defends against Buddy Matthews. This is going to be the AEW special of a very good in-ring match, but no drama because we all know Kazuchika Okada is going to win. Then we have the Brisbane Brawl between Jay White and Adam Copeland taking on Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. This is where I was talking about the AEW special of the odd man out. You look at the four guys, Claudio is the obvious odd man out, but if the Death Riders were to win, Jay White would definitely be the one to take the fall on that side. But I would suspect that Jay White and Adam Copeland just get the win here, especially since I do not expect Copeland to win at Revolution. So, should be wild, should be blood. Maybe, Cope introduced the spike thing so we can use it in Australia. But yeah. Then the fifth match on the card in a very interesting one. And probably the match a lot of people are going to be very excited to see because I think they've done a very good job. At least Harley Cameron has done a very good job at hyping up this match. And it is Mercedes Moné defending her AEW TBS Championship against Harley Cameron, an Australian native. So we get her, Tony Storm, Kyle Fletcher. And Buddy Matthews. We got a lot of Australian wrestlers here. And, Jay White to an extent being from New Zealand. A lot of Kiwi wrestlers here on this card. And the feud has been entertaining, has been fun. Harley Cameron's kind of showing off all of her tricks. She's introduced the Mercedes Moné puppet, and it's one of those things of just because she can do ventriloquism, maybe she shouldn't. But it's a low card, mid card women's title match, or women's feud of Harley Cameron, who literally has only won one match in AEW. And I do still wonder if maybe it shouldn't have, maybe she should have just kept this losing streak and then beat Mercedes in a non-title match or for the title in Australia for that to be her one big win, her first big win. And honestly, I would kind of have Harley Cameron get the win here. I think if their kind of what they're trying to do of piggybacking off of the NBA All-Star game, have this match come on first. Mercedes Moné, no name from WWE. Harley Cameron, she's going to be over very much so in that Australian crowd. It's going to be the first match of the night, so they're going to be super hot for it. And if Mercedes Moné can get a good match, just a good match. I'm not expecting anything like a Matt Classic by any means because that's not what Harley Cameron really is about. But if there's a person that can get a really good match at Harley Cameron, it's probably Mercedes Moné. And I would not be shocked if she pulls one out of her ass here. And I think Harley Cameron should get the win. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Mercedes Moné's character work, and her matches are great. Everything else is kind of meh. And I know her whole thing is that she has all these titles, but she's got to start losing them eventually. And I guess it would be a hell of a start to start losing them if she's going to lose the biggest one first. So I will pick Harley Cameron to be the new TBS champion at AEW Grand Slam Australia. Did not do this because I normally do. This is taking place in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Originally, it was set to be at a stadium or, rugby cricket stadium, I think, but that got moved to a smaller venue. But I think last checked, they are near sellout. So, so originally it was supposed to be at Suncorp Stadium, which is a 52,000 Australian football stadium or rugby stadium, and it got moved to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, which has a capacity of 13,500. And I know there are some people who bought tickets to the stadium show that then had to get moved to the arena, and the arena is not exactly very close to the stadium, so kind of messes up everyone's travel plans if you bought a hotel or an Airbnb next to the stadium and then you got to travel however many minutes or miles to the arena. But that is not my problem. That is for the Australians to figure out. But that is it for me for today. Hopefully I can be back for the regular episode next week. If not, I will surely send in more clips for you guys recapping Grand Slam and Dynamite and all the happenings of the news from the next week. But until next time, love you all. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Back over to Phillip.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, friend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday and Sunday, Stockton Con. I did a podcast with Mike Miller. Go check it out. It's 11 to 5 p.m. both days. Go meet Joe Hendry if you believe in the TNA World Heavyweight Champion on Saturday. Booker T was unable to make it due to his commitments to NXT Vengeance Day. So he's going to bring you the Axe and the Smasher, Demolition, Sunday. Go meet the third longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. Go meet them. Saturday, Oasis Pro R&Beatdown. It is going down like never before. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready for the matches and the moments that are going to be made at this show. I mean,
and
Marlee,
the soundtrack.
The soundtrack. The soundtrack alone is about to go absolutely crazy. Let's look at this card, ladies and gentlemen. Isaiah Bronson versus Charisma, world's first tag team in the Melanin Mafia, have a contract signing. You have Can't Stop Jamal versus Elliot Ray. You have The Block versus Mariachi Montana in a tag team match. But then the main event, Vinny Massaro versus Ciclope versus Fatal versus Journey Fatu. R&Beatdown karaoke will be at intermission. You don't want to miss that. And then Sunday, if you were in the Sacramento Elk Grove area, pull up to SPW. They got a show that is going on. What is their show called? Love is Pain. Go see Illumide. Go see Bobby Callahan. Guadalupe. Yes, I'm sorry, I can't speak. Go see all your favorite SPW talents. You don't want to miss it. But Oasis Pro Gilman Brewery outside. We outside. We in the back. Hot chocolate will be provided. So yeah, y'all come on and party with us, man. I mean, can we talk? Because when
For a minute,
they don't know the kind of connection that we and I have. That you and I have. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all know what I'm saying? Do y'all? Come on now.
I think they get it.
I hope they do. Because sometimes I be so into you. Y'all don't know. Come on now. Every little step I take.
During this candy rainstorm outside the next few days, everybody drive safe.
Yes. Can you stand the rain? Because I heard it never rains in Southern California. But it's not going to be raining in Berkeley, California. Saturday the 15th, 7 p.m. Gilman Brewery out in the back. Thank you all so much. Be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up